very, very efficient introduction. Thanks a lot, Steve. I appreciate it. First, let me say thank you to all of you for turning out today. There have been doubts by some people as to whether or not we were serious about our efforts here in New Hampshire. We've never doubted our intentions of coming to New Hampshire, opening up an office. We now have begun to hire some of our full-time staff. We've always been committed to being in this state and making our presence known. It's just that because I'm not running my campaign like a lot of campaigns, which is spend more money than you have before you get it. I know this is a novel idea. We spend our money after we get it. I know that's a novel idea. It's called running like a business. And so whereas I have spent a number of visits here, I think this is now my 16th or 17th visit to New Hampshire. But we wanted to open up an office because we are now getting ready to get more aggressive, such that the people who get to know me, they'll get to know my message about common sense solutions, economic growth plans, and give us an opportunity to have a place where people can come and get collateral material, signs, brochures, and things of that nature. So we're very delighted that we are here in order to be able to do that. I want to thank Representative Steve for coming out and everybody else. I see a lot of familiar faces who have been supportive of us ever since we started this journey. So I really want to thank you for being here. Now, I want to introduce our man on the ground. Where's Jamie C? He's probably downstairs working. As soon as he comes back up, Nathan, make sure to grab him. And then we also have our Senior Vice President of National Field Operations, Jamie Brazil. He's here. So the reason you don't see those guys is that they don't have time to listen to me talk. They're working, okay? They're working, which is a good thing. So we're happy that they are here, and so when they come back up, I'll point them out to you. We've got Chris Burgard, our videographer here. So he's not a spy, he's a cowboy with a cowboy hat. And a lot of those wonderful videos that you have seen on the internet, Chris is the guy who has put all of those together, and he will also be producing our commercials when we are ready to start spending money to go on air. Let me give you our perspective of the hour straw poll. And then the second thing that I want to do is share with you what I shared with the media as well as supporters in South Carolina on yesterday. First, we came in fifth out of 10 names on the straw poll ballot. Rick Santorum came in fourth. He beat me by less than 2,000 votes, or less than a few hundred votes, actually. Governor Tim Pawlenty spent over $1 million on media, and he had a considerable amount of debt when he woke up Sunday morning. Representative Michelle Bachmann spent at least a couple of $1 million, and I don't know what her cash position was. We haven't been able to get that from anyone, but I do know that they put a lot of money into bringing people in. They bus them in so they can vote. She had 40 buses. We had 4 because we were willing to bring any of our supporters in order to vote, but we weren't going to quote-unquote stack the deck. Ours was more representative of people who were there because they really wanted to be there to support what we were doing. And so we didn't spend 0 on radio. We spent 0 on TV. And Sunday morning, when I woke up, we had 0 debt, so I didn't have a headache. And so we're in great shape. We're thrilled that we're in this position. The reason that we are in this position, and then to come in fifth, I still beat, 5 other people? Gee. But yet, what you will hear from some of the people in the mainstream media, you will hear that there's only 3 real serious candidates out there, Michelle Bachmann, Rick Perry, and Mitt Romney. That simply is not true, folks. Once again, the media is trying to select the nominee based upon high name ID, whether they got a kajillion dollars or they can raise a kajillion dollars, and whether they have held political office before. That's not a true measure of what's going on out there. The true measure of what's going on in this Republican presidential nomination campaign is what's represented here in this room. This is what's going on. Every stop I make. We went in South Carolina yesterday, which brings me to my second topic, rolling out my vision for economic growth. The reason that I wanted to go ahead and roll it out before I became president is because I hope the president and Congress will enact this stuff now. The American people can't keep waiting. So like you, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated when I have relatives call up. They can't pay their rent. So what do? Just like many of you. You try to help them when you can. But the problem is we can't keep waiting for a real economic growth plan, and we certainly don't need another speech. That's all we're going to get in another month, unfortunately. And so we are very pleased with where we are right now with respect to the campaign. Yes, we are running lean. Yes, we are probably understaffed. But you know what? We have a whole lot of volunteers, and that's making the difference. Yesterday in South Carolina, and unfortunately we don't have enough copies for everybody, but we will have them here in the office. Yesterday in South Carolina, I released our vision for economic growth, part 1. And this vision for economic growth is not only designed to boost this economy and start serious job creation again, it is also designed to supercharge this economy. We can't just try to tickle this economy back to prosperity. We've got to take some bold moves. Now, I've had the opportunity so far to present this to the media that was present in South Carolina yesterday. I did a recording earlier today such that I talked about it on Judge Napolitano's show. As I arrived in town, I went over to St. Anselm College. They have a recording studio over there, and I was live on Neil Cavuto's show where I talked about this. They are beginning to say, somebody has a plan. Yes, we have a plan, and I'm very proud of it. This plan was developed with some of the best economic and business minds on the planet. Many of them you see on TV a lot, and I'm not at liberty to even call their names because they're very modest. They want to stay in the background, and they don't want to make it seem as if they are endorsing me. But I've had some of the best people on the planet to help me put this together. One of the individuals worked in the Reagan administration. One of the individuals worked in George Herbert Walker Bush's administration. These people have been around, plus they have a lot of practical knowledge. So we're very proud of this, and you're going to hear more and more about this